Grand rising, everybody. Let's see if I can go ahead and make this express. I don't really like taking the 7 o'clock one, man. It's too many damn people coming in the building at 8 o'clock. Truth be told, you know, I try not to, you know, miss these early buses. You know, early bird gets the worm. That was my motto. I gotta bring that back. So I was just having a conversation with some folks. Just give y'all some updates on what's the best industries to target right now for IT. Is medical and health. I said not medical and health. Medical and damn it, man, what is it? Medical and banking. Those will be the last to go. Medical and banking will be the last to go. They're not gonna admit to you that we're in a damn recession. They're not gonna out flat out say it. You could easily see it. You could easily see it. I don't know if people are either blind or if they're just either they're blind or they're unwillingly refusing to admit the obvious. So banking, institutions, and medical, those will be the last to go. Yeah, those will be the last to go. So that's what I would target. If I was a young brother and I wanted to get in the game, even if, you know, if it's a contract, help desk, whatever, banking and medical, try to get into that. Banking might be a little easier, to be quite honest. Banking would be, in my opinion, banking will be a little easier for you to get into. It's gonna be a little easier for you to get into because they have a lot of migration. You know, a lot of times y'all look at these big corporations, these big financial institutions and bankings. Most of the people in IT, a lot of the people in technology, they're not that smart. It's like working for the state or the feds. Folks get in there, they learn their job or whatever, and they become technically content. They don't make a ton of changes in technology, so they don't gotta really know nothing. That's why I told y'all they could just kind of sit around and talk. They could just sit around and talk all damn day because they don't really have to know much. They don't, man. They don't. And unless they're like in development or DevOps or something like that. But if they just doing some little onesie twosie they don't really gotta know a lot, man. A lot of times you will not find these people in startup companies, you know, like firms that I worked at before and stuff. You're not gonna really see them where they gotta kind of be way ahead of the curve. You don't have to be way ahead of the curve. I know, because they can't make a lot of changes in those institutions. They can't. A lot of that stuff. A lot of these banking institutions, these financial institutions, they're years behind the technology. Look at the state of Minnesota. Look at the problems they had. They're years behind, man. They are. I'm just keeping it a buck with y'all, man. So there was a brother, what's his name? Abdi. I said I'm on his Outlook. Abdi. You know, if you're watching this, man, you know, I know initially our plan was to try to keep you remote. Yeah, you know, we were. That was part of the plan, bro. We were going to try to keep you remote. But now, since I sent you that data center position, man, that's essentially an AI-proof kind of job for a while. For quite some time. That's going to be AI-proof. You're going to make 80K. You're going to make at least 75 to 115 once you get your Cisco CCNA. And remember my brother Elmi, me and him did that network, video where he talked about how to get into the network game and what to do, dealing with Field Nation and all that kind of stuff. So I sent you that. That's the only reason why I would have told you, to consider going in office. That's the only reason why I would have told you to consider that. I think I missed the damn bus, man, again. I would have never told you to do that. I would have told you to stay remote until you could find a double up. I know that was our initial plan. You know, you're a business analyst. You're probably not going to do, like you say, you're a BA. You're not really doing too much. But if you're working remote, I told you to keep that. But I tell you to go back into the quasi lion's den. The quasi lion's den basically being with the service center. You're not, you know, you're going into the lion's den, so to say. If this is a data center environment, you're not going to be dealing with tons and tons of people. You're just going to be kind of walking around, making sure, you know, pack tables are correct. And it's going to be very layer one. You know, you're not going to be taking any phone calls. So it's not going to really be soul-to-soul support in a sense where you got people walking up to you, micromanaging you left and right. You might have maybe one or two coworkers. If they're doing that and doing, you know, additional micromanagement, it might be 9 times out of 10 in a data center environment, it might be a suspected race soldier that's throwing his weight around. But you're not really going to you're not going to run into enough people that's going to be able to try to self-deputize themselves against you on a regular basis in mass. That's not going to happen. It's not going to be like when you're in help desk, or when you're, you know, you got folks walking around, bothering you, coming up to your desk, you know, pretty much imposing their will on you all the time. That you're not really going to have that. Your yard is going to be small. Let's go back to the prison yard analogy. Your yard is going to be small. You're going to be in like, you're going to be the only person on the yard. Ain't going to be no inmates. You know what I'm saying? You're going to be, you know, you might have a few guards, maybe 2 or 3 at the max, because people can't come into the data center on a regular basis. Mosquito bite still bothering me, man. It's been weeks. Oh, damn near. Let me see, what bus is that? Is that the new bus? No, that's something else. It'd be actually better for me to drive in today, but oh well, whatever. You are, you know, you'd be better off considering this position if they would give you a chance. The interview is going to be very simple. This is going to be layer 1 focused. So try to review the OSI layer a little bit and just, you know, I think you could do it. It's all going to be physical as to why something's not working. And I think they said it could be part-time. I don't remember. But the reason why I told you to pick this is because this will give you the experience on paper that you can eventually go to another data center. That's the goal with this. You're not trying to stay. You want to be in a full-time data center at some point in time. If this is part-time, even if it's like 35 hours a week, man, you could go get the other money. You know what I'm saying, bro? Like you could DoorDash, or you could, there's other ways to get your 5 hours worth of money. You know, actually, to be quite honest, a lot of people don't look at it like this, but that opens up your hustle and your game. That'll open it up. A lot of people get into this mindset where it's like, man, well, I gotta have a whole 35. I gotta have a whole 40. No, you don't. You shouldn't think of it as I'm just stuck in this desk and that's all where I could get my money. You can go and start doing stuff with Field Nation. You could go and you could start doing little one-off contracts. You could start building your LLC, build your business, whatever your skill set is, build that. So now you're putting in maybe what they say 30, 35 hours at the data center. You got 5 hours free. Look at it like it's 5 hours free for you to be able to go and implement your business. You in the Somali community, right? Okay. What you do is you take the data center position and then you teach some other brothers how to do that. And then y'all start getting some kind of little, you know, some little business together or whatnot. That didn't even look like the damn bus. I didn't even see it coming. Is there somebody on there? Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, the bus was here. I guess it just didn't look like it was here. Yeah, that's crazy. I missed the bus on my own, I guess you could say. Damn. Where are they going? Trying to see if there's anybody on the bus. It looked like there was. Yeah, I swear, I should have just got out there. So I missed it again. Hybrid. Now, you're not going to be able to do a lot of, you might be able to do some, but there's probably not going to be a hybrid situation. They need you at the data center. They got to have a body there. Therefore, that eradicates the quote unquote AI robot. But yeah, man, you can take that part-time. If they give you an interview, man, if I was you, I'd take it. Because you know where you're at right now, you're not going to learn that much. Try to negotiate a higher rate. I emailed a recruiter. She didn't get back to me. It was through Peak Systems. Peak Systems is a real recruiter. I've dealt with them before on stuff. Got a lot of people hired out there before. But, you know, the rates may not be the best. But tell them, hey, look, you know, see if you get $30 out of them. That might be more than what you're making now. See if you could get $30 up out of them. Say, hey, this is part-time. This is a short contract. I think, yeah, it is a contract. It's not permanent. You know, and like I say, once you learn the position, it's probably only going to take you a couple weeks. You've learned it. That's the thing with like data centers and stuff like that. Once you've learned the position, bro, you've learned it. If you get trained in to do everything in 2 weeks or whatever, you ain't going to be doing too much more than another month. And you're going to control the vendors. You're going to have to walk people through the data centers and make changes and things of that nature. So that's the beauty. You'll be kind of walking around. Most time you're going to be sitting around looking at your Cisco book. Bring your Cisco book. Bring your networking book so you can become engulfed in the technology that's surrounding you. And go get your CCNA at some point. We'll get Brother Elmi to help you. He's at a data center. The one I sent you that video. Brother Elmi. We'll get him to help you. You know, and he can kind of give you pointers and, you know, but his time is valuable. You know, I'll tell you that. But that brother will be able to help you. We did a network video on how to, you know, on how to get into the network game and make money. That man was doing data centers, second shift, and then, you know, in the morning, that dude would be waking up early, doing Field Nation. Do a couple hours and bill these folks for $400-500, man. You know, that's something you can do. And you're going to be able to make a lot of money, man, because not everybody's going to be working in a data center. Some people don't want to. And a lot of people don't like positions like that because what they probably already have there is they have somebody that's working where they want to supplement some hours. Or, you know, it might be somebody slowly phasing out. When I see positions like that and it's only part-time, you know, and that's, you know, especially if you ain't got no kids, that's cool. I don't know if you got kids or not, brother, but, you know, and I'm kind of targeting this video towards you. You know, I'm kind of making you a custom-made video because I know that position, you know, and I think I'll throw it in the video too for other people to kind of see what I'm talking about. So we're talking about the data center position that I was received through Peak Systems. And I believe it was part-time. You know, even if it pays around the same what you're making, just if you have the opportunity to get in there, you could get in there. And then what you do is you learn afterwards. That position is not for somebody that's tried and true, that's been doing it for a very, very long time. Because it would probably pay more and Peak Systems probably wouldn't have it. It would be another large company that would have another vendor would have that. If it was like a big time, like a Google or whatever like that. So this is probably, it possibly could be one of the places that I interviewed. If you guys go back and look at one of my data center interviews, it's kind of loud. You weren't really doing a whole lot of, it wasn't very technical, but just alone to have that on your resume, you know what I'm saying? Just to have that on your resume, man, that's going to open some doors for you. And you're not going to be real stressed out. You're not. I've never met a data center technician that said, man, these folks is just bothering me all the time, man, and they come in and they just, nah, man, you're not dealing with a bunch of people because you hold the keys. The data center technician, you're in a very, very important role. You hold the keys. Ain't nobody gonna come up in that data center if you don't let them. Security can come in there. I mean, there's different vendors, and you're walking them to their data center, making sure the Cat5 cables and everything correct. You might rack in, put a new router in, all of that kind of stuff. It's the physical layer 1. So yeah, it is gonna be kind of a lonely job. Sit around, listen to your podcast, watch your network videos, bring your network book and stuff like that. Once you kind of get the hang of it, you could be like, all right, I want my CCNA. You let them know when you interview, I want my CCNA. Am I going to be? And you ask them, because remember, you got to come through this interview from a system of power. Don't come from a lowly servant, fortitude. Come from there, interview them. They interview and you interview them. Hey, will I be able to get my Cisco CCNA? You might want to focus on your CCENT, or not the CCENT, but that there's another one. I'll send you that, and I'll try to remember to put that in the video too. So the video, the data center job, and the certification. There's one that's before, and I think you should start with that. I think that would be good for you. Interview them. Can I get my Cisco CCNA by working this job? I want to steer my career towards networking. Just say that, even if you don't care, because remember, our goal for you, I think you said you want to get into more tech support or stuff like that. So, the network infrastructure, that'll be a very powerful piece to focus on your resume and your skill set, if that's the direction you want to go. But you're a business analyst right now, so I told you BAs make more. But where you're at right now, you're not getting the necessary experience as a BA to be able to demand that $130,000 business analyst position. Because by definition, if you had that skill set, you would have already been interviewing and emailing me left and right like, hey man, I found something already. So that's okay. That's okay that you have that you're working as that BA. You use that. But when you talking to these data center folks, you say that I'm moving in the direction of network infrastructure. I can't remember on what direction you said you want to go. I think you want to go more of a technical role. But a data center is about as technical as you can get in terms of network infrastructure. So if you get tired of that, you can say I have the backbone of the network. I was the network. I was the nucleus. Because every job that we go through, they go through a damn data center. So somebody can't tell you, well, he don't have the experience of layer 1 and he doesn't understand the foundation of layer 1. You tell them to go F themselves. Yes, I do. I worked in a damn data center. Your computer wouldn't work without me. You see what I'm saying? You don't say that to them, but I mean, hey, I've done the data center. I've done the data center. So, that'll be a very powerful thing. And then, your career is going to go more towards maybe infrastructure on back end. I consider data center back end. You're not out in front with all these damn customers. It's not a lot of money in customer service, bro. It's not. It's crappy. People is always talking shit. They got high expectations. You're better off being like Al Heyman. Look up Al Heyman, a boxing promoter. Look up his career. You don't see him on TV a lot. You want to go the Al Heyman route. Yeah, you ain't got to go the Mike Tyson route. Mike Tyson got ripped off. He had to build himself back up. You want to go the Al Heyman route. Look up Al Heyman. Google Al Heyman. A-L and last name H-A-Y-M-A-N. Look up Al Heyman. You want to go the Al Heyman route. You can go in the back end, go deal with this data center, and focus on being behind the scenes. Behind the scenes, you know, those are the people that make all the money. Those people that install cabling, fiber optic, they got their own companies and stuff like that, I consider them the behind the scenes. Now, they might be front end on dealing with customers when you go into people's houses, but I'm saying when you're building the backbone and the infrastructure of America, that's where the big money is. The backbone of America. There ain't nobody that got tons of money that's on the front end. That's a farce. The money is on the back end. Yeah, the money's on the back end, bro. So just remember that. And so yeah, let me go ahead and upload that, man. I'm gonna go ahead and make another video of some other things. So yeah. So bro, I used your email and I sent you the guide. You're gonna need the CCST. Start off with that. That'll get you in a good space. Take that within a month. Go ahead and knock that out. If you get that job with this data center, now they got part-time and they got full-time. If they offer you a full-time, take it. If they got part-time, ask how many hours it is, and then just do that 30 to 35 hours and DoorDash it, and you know what I'm saying, or do whatever you do, you know what I'm saying, and get that and get that study time in and get the CCST. If they offer you a full-time, man, go ahead and take that, bro. Because I had to look at your resume again, and I'm posting your resume so the world can see it, but I'm not gonna say where you work at. It ain't gonna hurt you anyway, but I blurted that out just so people can see your background so they know what I'm talking about. Cause I'm posting this video up ASAP, and I'm gonna send you an email and say, bro, watch this. So ultimately, you already have a help desk background. Don't go back to help desk. You're done with that. Now you're doing business analyst. Okay, now let's go to a higher position, a better BA position, paying better, or infrastructure. If you get in that data center and get that skill set, and then after 2 years, move on to something else. Move your skill set after, well, maybe 2 years, but I'll say the way the world's going on, it might be a damn year. Ramp up in a year. You should be able to learn. Theoretically, you need about 10,000 hours to master a skill set. But what I'm saying is, the way that things are going, maybe it'd be a year. Unless you know that data center position that's really affording you the skill set that, you know, to keep on. But I say, you know, 2 years, but a year, bro. The way that the world's going, about a year. Ramp up, get your certs, learn, go hard for a year at that place if you get that position. You've already mastered. You notice at your resume, each place you've been at, it's been maybe a year, 2, or whatever like that. You've mastered and become proficient in your job. There's no reason to stay. Either you move into another position or lead a damn company. There's no reason to stay. All this staying around just to be stagnant like some of these niggas be doing, just sitting around, don't be knowing shit, and now you just sitting in your job just talking. Now, if you got family and stuff like that, yeah, stability. But you're a young man, you ain't got no kids, man, don't do that. Don't sit around years and years and years and years and you're not learning anything and building on your skill set. Get up out of there. Get up out of there. I don't care what nobody tells you, man. Don't somebody say, well, yeah, just sit around and, you know, and then now you can become an old nigga where you don't know nothing. It's just sitting somewhere and you're not learning anything new. And then now somebody half your age comes in 10, 15 years later and gets wiped your job out and you sitting around, you know, doing another desktop job. You know what I'm saying? Nuh-uh. You don't want to do that, bro. You don't want to do that. I accidentally positioned myself in situations where I could learn different skill sets and stuff. It happened out of the blue. It might have been a position. I don't know. God might have sent me something and I just, oh, okay, there. Let me do that. So I'll be sending this to you. I'm uploading this to you now, bro. So check your email.